also ate a piece of ribbon and was dragging along about like 3 or 4 feet of ribbon out of her ass.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Gotta eat ribbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was running around.
It's a birthday present.
I was like, oh, you're doing that, huh? So then I told my cousin, like, yeah, no, you gotta
deal
fix
with
that. So he sat down with the cat and just slowly pulled it out.
Gross.
What you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah, you get to look forward to that.
No, my cat would be smarter. Let's just say my cats are always very smart.
You wouldn't keep ribbon around?
No,
Ribbon,
so
you
I
know,
never have ribbon.
dental floss.
Don't floss, no problem. No, I'm kidding. But
See, if I'd just be a disgusting human being, it solves all my
it
problems.
solves all your problems.
Solves
very easily.
everything. Yeah. Yeah, let's kick things off. Welcome to another episode of the Entertaining Stupid Podcast. As always, my name is Buddy Jayson, and my friends with me today are...
Sylvan!
Dan,
Yeah.
I managed to pull Dan out of the basement for a brief moment of
I
time.
forgot I was supposed to be here today.
Well,
I
apparently...
was in school, I'm doing programming.
How's that going for you, Danny?
Right now, it sucks! No, it's because I got into a difficult concept. It's fucking hard. I think I asked you last time, but essentially with, I'm just learning Java, and anyone else who's taken Java knows it, but essentially I'm working with what is now a group, so a group of objects or a group of numbers or words is called an array, and then if you have a group of groups, it's called a 2D array, which I'm dealing with, and it's fucking weird, because you're trying to think in steps of like math equation, how do I invoke every part of this I need to, but it's a group of a group. So it's just weird dealing with them, and it's tough as shit. And today it was like, I don't know, yesterday I was kind of doing okay. Today again was one of those ones I was doing decently, but I've fully accepted coming up to this upcoming midterm, because I have midterm Monday, and I'm still trying to learn this shit. I won't know it well enough to go through it like without extra code available, like my helper methods or something available. Either way, it's hard shit. That's how I'm leaving it at that. It's just hard.
Well, I mean, it's good that you're putting on all this effort, and you're doing better this time around, aren't you?
Oh, much better. And that's the thing I was telling Syl on the way over here. Like, I'll admit, I was like, for right now, like, I'm still doing it for my midterm coming up, but ultimately, I am, at the moment at least, I'm disappointed in how, I wish I understood it more. And, like, I put in at least time. Like, I'm not being completely lazy at it, but it's a fucking hard concept. So it's one of those things where I was on the way over here talking about it, and it's how to allow yourself, because like I always want to do really well at anything I do. I want to be very good at it. I don't care if it's a game. I don't care if it's school. Maybe the only other exception would be like sports. I don't give a shit about. But like really, when it comes to anything, I want to be. I don't need to be like not the best, but I want to be really good.
You want to take pride in it.
I want to take pride in it. Like my last midterm, I think like I did well. I got 83, and I was jazzed about that. And then this midterm, I can already tell I'm not going to get that. Like that's a fever dream. But I won't fail, and I need to be happy with just doing good enough, and I just can't.
It's not satisfying enough for you.
No. Because ultimately, if I don't get the same mark I did last time or better, I'm disappointed in myself. Which is not logically sound, and I know that, but I can't not think that way.
Yeah?
It's a difficult thing. Because like, I know enough to know how it's wrong, but I don't have a good enough control over my inner psyche to like truly convince myself.
Dan, you're just racking up all these like 7 deadly sins, like pride, sloth, gluttony, greed.
Yeah, why embody one when you can embody them all?
Embody them all. Well, for me, pride is a big thing though, man. Because like with being sad, man, like you don't have a lot of things you're proud of. So it's whenever you get something you're good at, you cling to it like a life boat. Because you go, hey, I'm good at something. This will keep me afloat. Like this will keep me like having worth, kind of thing. Yeah. So I gotta be okay with doing my best effort and being happy with that, rather than being happy with only a good mark.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you.
What about you in your school? Like, have you had any struggle shit?
Well, no, I don't actually start my program, my CPA program till the end of January. But there's a lot of stuff that I need to do beforehand that I should really, really get started off. And to do that, I think I need to book off a meeting with the controller and the CFO just to discuss a couple of things. Other than that, yeah, I'm just excited to start the program in January. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're gonna cover early on is stuff that's already my duties at work. So yeah. Speaking of work, I've told many stories about all the stupid antics that I get up to every now and then, and the multitude of times that I've had to sit down and speak with HR about, my actions and what kind of consequences that they have on the office. Just a short little reminder, I guess. For a joke, I snorted a line of sugar during high reporting time. It's like, oh yeah, no, the higher ups really want us to get going on moving on this, and I got talked to by HR, but
and probably a headache.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, a little bit of a headache. Yeah.
A little bit. But I'm starting to realize that I'm not the only degenerate in the office. It's just I'm the one that got caught or ratted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we hired a part-time university student, and he comes and helps. Yeah, a couple of days.
Intern?
Yeah, and he's like a 25-year-old university student taking business and helping us out, and we went on a golfing tournament a little while ago, like 2 months ago, right? And we all went golfing. That was fun, and we all decided to get fucking smashed the as the evening came on, and we just continued to drink and drink and drink. And mind you, this was all on a Thursday night, so like we all knew we had to go back into the office the next day, and we all went home. The smart people chugged a lot of water, down some Advil, and went to bed.
And you did?
I didn't. The intern, Lyndon, I'm trying to get him on the podcast here. He decided that no, he's gonna continue going out to another club with his friend, and he didn't get home and to bed till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And mind you, we start work at 8, right? So Friday morning shows up. We're all there, 8 o'clock. Some of us are a bit hungover. Some of us are a little sluggish. Whatever. That's totally reasonable. Yeah, Lyndon's not in the office at all. I'm like, wonder if he's gonna show up to work today. So around 10:30 rolls by, and he slowly, staggers his way back into the office, and he's just out of it. We're like, why'd you even show up today, buddy? Yeah. So he shows up and he proceeds to spend the rest of the day sleeping in his office, like underneath his desk.
Yeah.
He closes the door, lies underneath the desk so that nobody sees him.
Yeah, like why even show up at that point?
Yeah, why? Yeah.
Yeah. So again, just yesterday, he walks in the office, still a little bit sluggish. And I knew he was like, yeah, he's hungover for sure. Yeah. And he proceeds to again nap underneath his desk. So I sneak into his office, and I lightly knock on his desk, scares the crap out of him, smacks his head up against the desk there, and just scared off. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only degenerate in this group here.
But now he got caught, so he gets to talk to HR now.
Well, I mean, it all depends on whether or not I want to rat him out to HR.
No.
I don't think,
Well, now you get to lord that over.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you never want to be if there's something someone's doing and it's genuinely having a negative effect on work, sure. But if not, snitches get stitches.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is my CFO has a funny rule. He goes, you drink on the weekdays because you want to be hungover on work time. You don't want to be hungover on the weekends. That's your time. You want to be doing shit.
Hey, fair enough. That's it. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, no, I would be so sick.
Like coming into work, or if I was ever at
Oh, I mean, like Syl's works construction, so I assume like after like on certain job sites or whatever, like you probably come into like a foreman or someone just like absolutely like hungover and like
yeah, but like the foreman is okay because normally he's got paperwork that he can fill the day with.
Yeah.
But when I show up hungover, it's like, oh yeah, Sylvan, you're working at Heights today. Oh great, thanks.
Yeah.
Can I not be at Heights?
Yeah.
Or it's like, yeah, okay, so we can't book the crane So we have to carry all the plywood up to the 3rd floor.
Mm.
Aren't you glad you were drinking last night?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just not worth it.
It's never worth it.
I find that as we get older and older, it's never worth it anymore.
It's never worth it.
It's always
You have like a beer or something like that, and you're just out for the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another thing I realized is I share an office with our accounts payable clerk because I'm showing her a lot of the ropes and passing a bunch of duties off to her. Mm. She's got a lot of weird fucking stories that she won't keep to herself.
Oh, is it like the oversharing type?
Kinda, but they're pretty funny stories.
Oh, so is it worth it to hear, or is it more? Because I've had a few employees that like they'll take all their life burdens and they'll come to work and go, "Here's my life burdens," and everyone else is like,
It's the life burdens. Like she keeps a lot of the life burdens to herself. It's a lot of the weird, like kind of.
Oh, that's fun then. As long as it's weird, fun
gross stories.
Depending on how gross.
I mean, she's
Dan,
probably
you
she's
work
probably
in the hospital. There is no gross story that
well,
you
like,
don't.
hey, we have one guy who got in trouble because he kept telling weird, perverted stories, and nurses are not about like. Yeah, we see a lot of shit, but nurses don't want to talk about like the time where you like tried to flash somebody and masturbated in front of them.
Like the story that really sticks out in my mind that she told me, I'm going to retell it on the story because nobody ever listens to this, and we never get in trouble. Christian knows that for sure.
Yeah.
We never get in trouble for the stories we
Hey,
tell.
technically speaking, he told stories about people he's with, and I don't know. It like the way I think about it when it comes to that, it's like if you're, and like I think everyone's guilty of it. You always talk about like everyone talks behind each other's back as much as you say you don't. Everyone does at one point. But there's a point where it's like the shit you say, if confronted with it, you have to be able to defend it or at least stand by it.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, that's what I said. Yeah, it's true. Or I was fucked up and I was in a bad space. I'm sorry I said it. I shouldn't have. You go from there.
Yeah.
No, the sentence you say is, "Am I wrong?"
No, that's yeah. Am I wrong? Am I factually incorrect? Hey, that's fair.
Okay, so she told me a story about she's in her early 40s or so. She told me a story about how when she was in her younger years, late teens, early 20s, how she went down on this dude, and afterwards she somehow contracted chlamydia in the eye.
Oh.
Yeah,
poor
and
girl.
the sequence of stuff that she had to go to get to the hospital, get tested, because she at first thought it was pink eye,
Yeah.
right? But it wasn't. When she went down to the hospital and got it all tested, and to her surprise, she got chlamydia in the eye, and it's just like the odds of that happening.
Actually, though, I don't know enough medically speaking, but I know herpes can be transmitted, like genital to
Yeah.
someone gets like a cold sore, that can be transferred to
I guess
genital herpes.
it's so like the eye is like essentially like a membrane.
It's a
right?
huge. The eye is the most like any. It's wet, it's moist, and it's exterior. So yeah,
What a terrible word.
Hey, it is what it is. Well, let's say bacteria loves wet, moist. I remember that from my class. Bacteria likes anywhere that's dark, wet, and moist.
Yeah.
Aren't wet and moist the same thing?
No, you have to say them separately because everyone hates the word moist. You can't just say wet. You have to say moist.
Yeah, but did you need wet and moist in the same sentence?
Because wet is actually what it's classified as. I added the word moist.
Oh,
It's
I
wet and
understand.
dark places are a bacteria's best friend. I added the other term because I like to use the word moist.
Yeah,
Most
you
people don't like
you
it.
can add in the word dank, moist.
No, dank is. So she got chlamydia from going down on someone. Also, at the same time, actually, I'm curious about this. When it comes to STIs, is there not a law involved to inform your other sexual partner? Be like, hey, I have so and so, or is it all depending on what is treatable and what is not? I'm curious.
I actually don't know.
I
Right?
have no clue because I know it's
Like,
like
'cause
it's
if
like
you-
AIDS or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
because if you have like, so I remember you hear a whole bunch of shit from the nursing students, but the one girl whose friend was dating this guy for 13 years, and found out he was cheating on her because he gave her herpes. And as far as I can tell, genital herpes is never treatable. It's just chronic. It's with you forever.
Yeah.
It'll flare up and it'll flare down, but you have it
You
forever.
can manage it, but you cannot get rid of it.
You can never get rid of it. And all I can think to myself is, I'm like, for her, first off, it sucks finding out your boyfriend cheated on you, and then he gave you an STI. When it came to that, though, I'm like, isn't there a legal repercussion? If he knew, Or even if you didn't know, or like, because how do you sue them based on like you knew you had an STI? It's like I don't know, my crotch was itchy. Like, how would you enforce that?
I actually don't know.
Unless he got tested.
Yeah, if you got tested and then didn't tell people, they'd probably get you then because you have medical proof.
Yeah, you have medical records.
If you never got tested, yeah, I don't know, negligence because you get them on that. No, I don't know. I wonder about that a lot because
You
like
might get something, but I don't think it would be a felony.
no, maybe just get like a fine or something. But like,
Yeah.
but there has to be something, right? Because like if you're an individual and you know or you knew full out that you had an STI or like a chronic like herpes won't go away, won't be treatable.
Well, it's
You know you
treatable,
have
but-
it, but then, like if you know you have it and then you willingly have sex with someone else, are you not being fraudulent? Like, are you not just being like, oh yeah, like, or are you just being an asshole? I guess is like obviously you're being an asshole, but at the same time, like, is there legal repercussions?
I assume there's probably legal
There
repercussions.
has to be, right? Because otherwise, how would you get away with
It'd be like it'd be a civil suit at best. Yeah.
Yeah.
like person against person?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, hey, you gave me herpes. Oh, fuck me. I don't know. I always wondered that when it comes to STIs, whether or not you'd actually be charged for them.
I don't know, because the ones that are treated, like treatable, like
Those I don't imagine.
those, I can't imagine. Like,
It's like hey, you gave me a cold. Well, so what?
yeah, I'm sure like you would be a social pariah,
Yeah.
but I don't think you would. There'd be any legal problems. But I
No.
think like if you gave someone, say like AIDS or like
Yeah, that-
Hep C,
Yeah.
like that would probably have some repercussions.
Some repercussions, right? And I guess that's what I always wonder. I'm like, is what would stop someone? And then I always think about this, especially when it comes like the men go their own way, like that fucking group of incels. I always thought to myself,
Oh God.
you know what's funny? Like a lot of them, like they hate women, right? Like their whole thing, they just hate women. And the one thing I thought, I'm like, you know what? If any one of these guys really wanted to, all he'd have to do is contract a sexually transmittable disease and try to get with as many people as possible as a spite thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The whole reason they hate.
I know
women
it's
is
because they can't
can't
get with women. I get that, but like he could technically, I don't know, you pay your hookers there, man. Yeah, but I don't know. I always wonder that, like, if someone was spiteful enough and they hated enough people, could they technically just go around giving everyone like the clap or whatever and just be like, no?
It's probably way easier just to buy a gun and just shoot a bunch of people.
No, but you can't. Yeah, but you can kill someone with a gun. You can't like alter their entire mental, like their mental being, their mental process, and their
That's
self.
looking to deal the most
like
psychological
psychological
No, but like,
damage.
hear me out. Okay, this is the only thing I always think about. And like, hey, but no, everyone always says, oh, the worst thing you can do is kill someone. No, it's not. It's never the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is torment them. And then anyway, one way or another, if you can mentally torment them, that's the worst.
So you're edging them towards death.
Yes. But like the one thing is like the one was like so accurate where it's like if you do give someone like an STI or something of that nature, really you are altering their entire existence. Because now they're going to have to think about themselves with every other person. Do they have to start asking, hey, I have herpes or I can't, you know, are you okay to sleep with me? Stuff like that. You have pregnancy complications. You have fertility issues, like everything like this. And then it's all I can think about is that if you got someone with that, if you're spiteful enough, you could go around to someone, like say for example, someone was like, I can't wait to have a family. You give them herpes, all of a sudden they have serious pregnancy complications. They might not be able to. Like you can, that's why I'm wondering why isn't there not repercussions for something like that, or there should be.
I think there are.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, like I just don't know about them yet, but there should be because you could ruin someone's life worse by doing something like mental like that. Not even that's physical, obviously too, but like. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's terrible. Like you could easily do that to somebody.
Yeah, no. If you are willfully negligent in
That's what I want to know. Yeah,
it is a felony.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. There has to be some law to be like, hey, you knew you had this, you didn't care, you didn't tell them, you gave it to them. Yeah, you're going to jail, or like you're getting fined. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Hep C herpes thing, and like if you were, or like another thing I thought about, and I know again, I want to preface it by saying I would never do anything. I have a mind that goes that way. Just because I think about what everyone's worst possible motive is, or what's the worst thing they could do in a situation. I think about someone like Magic Johnson, right? Yeah, I think he has AIDS, or full-blown AIDS. Magic Johnson's like the whole
I
thing.
don't know if it's HIV or AIDS.
HIV or AIDS. He's one of the two.
One of the two.
Literally, as far as I can understand it, you could technically infect people by just siphoning out your own blood and then putting it into either products that are consumed by somebody else or splashing it on somebody else, or if any way, shape, or form contacting. So any mucous membrane could absorb it. So you literally just have to take a little bit of a syringe, suck up some of your blood, and then take it almost like you can even have like a little squirt gun, Like, you could do a bunch of shit. And you can mess people up, because then for life you have AIDS now.
Yeah, but that is a special kind of fucked up that...
But there has to have been someone in history who's had something like that and has gone, I hate this life, or I hate my life, and I hate everything around me. Fuck everybody else, or fuck these group in particular. I'm gonna give him AIDS.
I think most of the time those people just turn to guns.
Yeah, it's just way easier.
Nah, that's lazy though. It doesn't affect them as much.
Dan's in there trying to maximize on a.
See, they want to maximize physical damage. You want to maximize emotional damage.
Emotional damage leads to physical damage. Because I don't know, yeah. So I realize now I just sound like a fuck up psychopath. But I mean,
we're all degenerates.
I know, but like the way I think about it is, and it comes to anything, I think, what's the worst thing someone could do in this position? I think of like someone in a position of power, like a mayor or like a senator or anything like that. And I always wonder, I'm like, what shit could they get away with if they were in this position? Or for example, like that's what I think about the people with HIV. Like, I know it's not a position of power, but it technically is. Your blood is a weapon. You can weaponize your blood. Like, you're literally,
I am a bio.
But I'm saying you're literally a biological weapon. Like, I don't know. I just always think to myself, and I'm like, man, if someone wanted to, and they had this, and they just wanted, like some men just want to watch the world burn. Like, if you had that, and you were that guy, you would cause fucking, like, you're not obviously, like, I don't know, you're not going to, like, maybe cause financial damage you can see or whatever, but you would ruin lives. Like, easily with that shit.
So, terrorists are out there thinking about blowing up certain buildings.
No, just give them AIDS.
Just give everybody.
So, like, I don't know.
This is in satire.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, don't give everybody AIDS. Don't. That's stupid. But, like, that's what, and my biggest thing is, yeah, it's like, I realize now, again, I genuinely just sound like a sociopath. Like, the best way I can say is that, like, I know, I think about the worst thing someone could do in their position. Right? Like, I don't know, that's always what I think. Like, or what if, for example, you are one of the people working at the labs making up the like, and I'm not going to get into that. Because there's a lot of retard.
Well, I think there actually was, like, someone who is...
Yeah? Malicious and like a...
Well, I think it was a nurse who wasn't actually giving people the vaccine.
I heard about that.
Yeah, they were giving
them...
And
she got fired and lost... Like, she's not allowed to practice
water or something
anymore.
like that.
Yeah, I was giving a placebo.
Yeah.
Saline.
Yeah, like... Let's say you're in a lab, or you're working in a lab, and you're making a medication, or you're making some sort of, some sort of vaccine. I'm not, you know what? I'm not even gonna say that because it'll give anyone who's ignorant more power.
Well,
like, I'm not.
No, that's the thing. Most people who work in like that line of work, like medicine, like that,
they've been checked, and they've
not only that, like they've been checked, but they genuinely have a passion for what they do.
They're usually good people. You hope.
Yeah, when you're that deep into a medical field.
Yeah.
But let's say, for example, you are in, let's say, I don't know, you're in a Chinese lab, you're developing you're helping developing a vaccine, right? And your vaccine, and then all of a sudden, though, Winnie the Pooh comes over and he says, hey, we're going to be primarily marketing this to Western countries. Put a little bit of extra in there. Put something else in there. What would stop someone from that, right? Like, because how would you, like... You'd be able to genetically engineer, or like,
well,
reverse engineer it.
There's also quality assurance testing.
Yeah,
like when I give you something, if I'm a sovereign nation and you're a sovereign nation, I give you stuff. You're not going to just go ahead and go, all right, I trust you and do it.
Of course not.
Yeah, like
you're going to do quality testing and go, all right.
Oh, so testing's on my and not on yours.
Yeah. That's what the FDA does. They like these products become available, and the FDA goes, "Don't do that. We don't have the test yet."
That makes
until
sense.
like,
there would be
because like in Canada, like we still go off the American FDA. Like I don't know if we have our own, but
Health Canada I think does their own stuff too.
Yeah, but usually it's like the FDA goes, "It is okay," and then Health Canada goes, "Yeah, what they said."
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, granted, the FDA just has a higher budget and way more manpower, so they usually get shit done faster.
Yeah.
And then Health Canada gets everything they did, and reads over it, skims through it, and goes, "Yeah, it looks alright."
All right, we're gonna sign here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
But yeah.
Then another one for you.
Oh my god.
Because I know, but this is the way my mind works. I think about shit like that. So, a daycare worker, right? They're with your children every day, and your children, if they're young enough, they're not verbal enough to at least communicate with you efficiently. What if they're just like planting subtle like mental hints, like Hitler was the best, or something like that? What if they like have like a game?
You're thinking of that childcare workers
conditioning
are indoctrinating.
What if they're conditioning your child to believe in a fascist regime?
First off, first off, childcare workers don't get paid enough.
Yeah, nearly enough.
Well, what if they don't get paid enough and they're vengeful because they don't get paid enough?
They're gonna put in more effort into fucking up your children.
Yes,
I would think of the opposite. I would think if they're not paid enough and if they're being vengeful, they're not going to be.
Yeah, like I read a story. It was just like the person explaining it, but it's like they won't do anything like that. It's more like petty shit. Like, you cut me off before, like, because I'm trying to go to work and you're trying to drop your kid off at my work.
Yeah.
And you cut me off, gave me the finger.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so, you know what? I'm going to teach your kid how to ride a bike so you don't ever get that moment. Fuck you.
Oh, that is a good action one, too. Yeah,
it's like petty shit like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, fair enough. You're right. That'd be too much effort. They would never.
It's way too much effort. See, you were thinking of, like, how can I put in the most effort into something, whereas most, like, nobody has that kind of drive, Dan.
But this is the thing I don't get, though. This is another thing. It's like...
You just need to focus that motivation into something productive.
It is, like, bro, I know I'm trying to do programming. I'm sucking at it. I'm not sucking, but, like, I'm struggling. But like, that's what... But, like, I guess that's the way my mind works. If I'm going to do one thing, it's 100% energy. Unless, of course, like, there's some things, like board games, I can't do it, because if I do that, I become a bitter asshole.
And you will literally fight somebody.
not literally fight, but I'll pout the whole fucking night. I know myself well enough. So when it comes to that shit, I'm like, okay, it makes sense why, like, I don't want to try. But, like, for anything else, I was even talking on the way over here, I personally can never accept anything but my best for anything. Like, if I'm not giving it all my all, or, like, let's say, if I'm doing something, if I know I'm not giving it my all and I'm, like, trolling, I don't care. Whatever, I'm trolling. But the second I try to give it my all and I don't get what I want, or I don't succeed, it's the ultimate rage. Because I go, I did everything. I gave it everything. I did everything right. Why don't I have this? Like a game of Dota, right? Your teammates fuck it up. You play perfectly, and you just can't get it. And I finally gotten around to a lot of times being like, okay, I did everything right. Someone else fucked up, and I'm not going to get it. But for anything else, like, I don't know. I just don't get how people, like, even when it comes to, like, weird fucked up shit, I think to myself, what would someone... what would I do in a pit? No, that sounds even worse. Oh, God, that sounds like... No, I realize that sounds like me being the crazy... But I think, I'm like, if I'm in a position and I have a mindset like that guy, which is fucked up, it might be a fucked up mindset, but if I'm in that position, that's what I would do. I guess that's more accurate. It's like if I had AIDS and I was vengeful towards the world and hated people, I'd probably find the people I hated and try to give them AIDS. Right? Like, that's what I assume I would do. Like, if you're put in that position, let's say you have AIDS and you have people who you hate. Would you not try to go out of your way to give them AIDS? If you were in that mindset. If you hate, okay, that's tough too, because then you have to be yourself in that mindset. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of myself, I'm more disgruntled.
I don't have that kind of drive. Guns are just easier.
I don't give that.
Because especially, like,
my
thought
process,
poison, my thought process is, I have AIDS, I have a very limited time, I don't care what prison is. Prison is nothing to me. My remaining years, it's like...
That's fair.
Like, if I were vengeful and, like, mentally unstable. It's just... But, like, me being lazy, there's just no reason to go through all that extra thing trying to give everybody AIDS.
Yeah, fair enough. It's weird, actually, yeah, because, like, lazy is some things... what was the other one? Oh, there's a guy, and I remember it. And I thought about it, too. And there's a... What the fuck? Why did I even dislike him?
Well,
I can't remember now, but
on this train of thought that we've been on, I'm pretty sure there's a good reason you dislike him.
I disliked him for some reason. My own thought is, I'm like, okay, he works as a DJ. That's his job. He's a DJ. So I thought to myself, I'm like, what's the worst thing I could do to someone like that? I'm like, yeah, you do the basic shit, slash tires, whatever. That's basic. Who gives a fuck? What I really could do is, I'm like, hit him where it hurts. That's his career. What's his career drive on? Social media. It drives on good press, good review. So all I thought was, like, well, this is easy. I review bomb him, make a bunch of different accounts, say this guy's fucking shit, he touched my daughter at this event, this pervert shouldn't be anywhere near this shit. Like, bomb him on every site he's on, bomb him until the point where he stops getting gigs, stops getting offers, and then when he's in a point of vulnerability, I offer him a job. And I go, hey, I got a gig you want to come over to. And at that gig, and I haven't gotten that far, but at that gig, I would ambush him with either a bunch of people to make fun of him, or in some way or another humiliate him. Then film it, then have that on a clip, and then every time he goes to do anything, I'd post that into the social media area. Like, hey, here's him getting pegged by some guy. Or whatever.
You are a fucking twisted man.
Okay, but hear me out.
It's just the level of manipulation that you're going through is just like...
What? Okay, but like...
That is an Eric Cartman thing to do.
That is not an Eric Cartman thing. Because, like, the thing I think about is, I'm like, what damages him the most? This is his job. This is what he relies on. This is also how he fuels his drug habit. everything leads into another. And all of a sudden I say, hey, come to this deal, right? Or come to this gig. And then I'll give them some money. Or instead of the money, I'll be like, oh, here's those drugs you like, but I've laced them with something. Or I'll, I do.
No, you
sound
like
like
you sound like
I do
Eric.
sound crazy.
You may as well just cut his parents up and feed
Yeah, I
him,
might as well just
put him
cut
into
his
chili and
No, but
feed
like,
it to him.
That's always the way I think about it. I'm like, how would I don't know. I enjoy the concept of if someone's wronged me irreversibly. And like then I realize even I don't remember what he's done to me. That's why, of course, I never did anything. But that's like me thinking, how would I ruin that person? You know what I mean? Like, how would you take them, or how would you break them down? Yeah, no, invite him to an event. Then I'd either pay him in the drugs he wanted, lace it with something that's either more addictive that he'd eventually get addicted to and go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, fuck. I realize as I'm saying it, I am a bad person, aren't I? No, that's the thing though. I don't.
It's a
I
good
would
thing
never-
that we can voice these
I
kind
would
of
voice
things.
it out. Would I actually do it? Depending on how bad he wronged me. No, I would never like go through that much ever. But I always, I know, I
You just put it out in this kind of space here. I mean, this is what this space is for, right? It's just for us saying a lot of stupid shit,
yeah,
right?
Or like, yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
and on the note of people doing terrible things, I recommend to everybody here to go back and listen to our Halloween special episode. I did a true crime podcast with Rael, where I wrote up a little article on a killer, the Candyman. Killed his kid. Go ahead and listen to that. That was a lot of fun.
I swear.
Following up on terrible decisions, like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comments. I'm a good person, I swear. I realize as I'm saying it, but like,
It just gets worse and worse and worse.
it gets worse and worse the more I talk. But I guess the only thing I always think about, my mind goes there, and I go, okay, how would I actually do this? And yeah, maybe that just makes me fucked up. I never act on it. I've never done anything like that. The only thing.
Well, that's the thing. You have these like far outlandish, twisted thoughts, but a crushing guilt complex where if you wrong someone even slightly, it
I know.
it buries you in guilt.
I remember like one time, even the thought of doing fucked up shit makes me feel guilty. I distinctly remember it was like, it was with an ex, and my only thought was immediately after breaking up was I'm gonna do the revenge porn shit. And I remember this. It was literally for like I had a thought process for 30 seconds, and to this day I feel guilty about it because I go, am I that piece of shit? Am I that piece of shit that goes out and like spreads this shit because I'm that's the kind of man I am? And I remember just the thought of that makes you feel guilty, and I still feel guilty about the fact that I even had the thought.
Yeah,
And I never did it, but the fact that I even thought about it made me feel guilty. And even I'll fully admit, when it came to that DJ guy, I took a step back. I'm like, I sound like a fucking sociopath. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I know I'd never do it, but I at least say this much. Hey, with my friend group, you cannot argue this point. If someone was to irreversibly wrong you out of the friend group, I would be the one to get revenge.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's a good thing, I'm just saying, at least I care enough about my friends that I would ruin someone's life.
We just need to find a constructive way to channel this energy into
security.
something
I want to be part of internet security, or like I want to be, like for IT wise, my biggest interest is security. I want to find scammers, hackers, those assholes, and I want to go through this kind of mental gymnastics, but with programs to fuck with them.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I would love to.
But yeah, it's funny, like, when we first started living together and you, like, crossed the line and I called you on it and then your guilt got the better of you and I didn't see you for, like, 2 days because you just hid in the basement.
Yep. Actually, like a big man, I'll say this because the issue was we had a barrier. I went into his room.
Yeah,
there's that, and now you also broke the shower curtain.
that one
No,
was,
that was different. That was just me falling.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't like a boundary. It was literally me in the tub going and falling.
That one was just him playing it off like nothing happened. You didn't know.
see anything?
Like there's
No,
there's
like-
definitely not a note on the door that says the shower curtain definitely isn't broken.
And then I had a note. I remember this too, and it was when you even said you're like, we're gonna have a discussion about boundaries when I get home. Like, and then my mind went, I'm like, I have like desecrated this sacred temple. My guilt took me to the point where I remember I put a note on my door. I'm like, I didn't even want to see anybody today.
Yeah.
I was done. And I'm like, okay, I put a note on my door. I'm like, I'm definitely not in here. It was like, I think it was like, or I'm sorry, but I mean, like, I'm so sorry. I'm definitely not in here though, or some shit like that. And I remember like he got home, and I remember just sitting there, and I was like, and then at least the part of me that is man enough went, no, you made a mistake. Don't hide. But, go up to him. So I went up to him, like, and his door was closed. So I was very brave about that. I'm like, hey, Sorry, I realized that there was a boundary issue and I crossed that, but it won't happen again. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I left back in the basement. But yeah, my guilt complex is fucking hyper aware.
Yeah.
That's why, like, for example, I think that's why, like, with school, I'll feel guilty because my mind will go, why didn't you study for 8 hours yesterday? Whereas logical me goes, you burned out. Like, you couldn't. Like, your brain was flushed. Like, you went 3 hours and you went another 2 hours. And after the 2 hours, you're almost like, you were going like this, reading the same sentence 4 times. I'm like, you couldn't. But the guilt complex goes, yeah, but you could. Yeah, I don't know why. It's fucked up. Guilt's a bitch.
Yeah, you just need a good support system around you to help you
Don't look at
focus
me.
and
I'll cut you down.
pull you out.
I have a good... No, Sad, that's the thing. You jokingly cut me down, but if I ask you any real questions, you're very analytical.
Oh, and there's been times where Syl's like, yeah, Dan hasn't eaten all day. I'm gonna go down there and like remind him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The one-track mindset. If I'm on something, and like even for this podcast, I'll fully admit, before I left, I was a bit peeved because I'm like, fuck, I forgot I agreed to it. So I was mad the fact that I forgot about the arrangement. Then I was mad about, well, I'm already in the zone and I need to get this done and I don't want to waste this zone. And then as I'm leaving, I'm getting mad and I'm like, wait, I agreed to this. And it's not like I don't enjoy being here, but it's the fact that when I'm on a one-track mindset, my mind goes programming, and anything else comes in, it's almost seen like it's like a mosquito or a horsefly biting me. Like, fuck off. Like, get out of here. I'm doing my shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, so getting over that shit. I'm happy now that I'm here.
Yeah, thanks.
No, but that was genuine. No, I'm not saying it like that, but yeah, that's always how my guilt works. I'm like, why the fuck didn't I remember? And then even now, I'm like, why didn't you start at 12? You started at 12, you would have got 2 hours in. Yeah. Life is difficult.
It's tough being an adult, man.
It's fucking hard. I'm still not an adult. I'm pretty much I would say maturity-wise, it's weird. I'm for the, not all the shit. I'm weird, and you know I'm weird. But like, if I'm with a group, I can be overly mature based on my sadness makes me like that. But at the same time, that's the best I can say. Because like mentally, I'm mature in some ways. Like I'm mature in analyzing and understanding and reading people. I'm immature when it comes to doing adult things like cleaning my room and making sure I don't forget meatballs in the fridge for a month.
Because the depression keeps you away from that, but when you have to interact with people, the depression is there, and depression ages you decades.
Oh god, you have no idea. Like that's why a lot of times like I'll talk to people at work, and I'm not saying like I'm so fucking wise. I'm not, but I know my own flaws so well. I could verbatim give them point by point without skipping a beat. I know everything about myself that's wrong. I know everything that's good. It can be hard to get there, but yeah, and then that's why when I talk to other people, like for the most often patients especially, I'm very good at talking to older patients because like a lot of their fears and stuff like that. I know it sounds weird, but a lot of their like fears and stuff, it's to me, and I was telling even Ray about, I was telling Syl about this. It's funny because a lot of their fears, like obviously everyone has the same kind of fears, like you know, have I like my job or my family or my girlfriend or a relationship. Everyone has those kind of same ones, but the one for all of them would talk about. Because they all, like a lot of patients, especially hospital-wise, because you're thinking about death. Everyone's always thinking about death. And they're all so terrified of it. And it's like a moment where I'm like sitting there, and obviously, and I was even saying, it's not like and it's never like I want to die, but I'm never scared of it. Death doesn't scare me, because it's like, well, what happens when you die? You're gone, but then all your troubles, all your tribulations, all your trials, all that's gone too. And then you're nothing. And everyone dies, so it's nothing. So I don't know, and then when I talk to them, it's kind of nice because then, like, when they're talking to me about all their problems, all their faults, I can see it in myself, or I know those in myself, so I know how I would want to talk to myself if I heard that.
So, from my understanding, out of everything that we've talked about in like the last half hour, Dan can really relate to old people and sociopaths.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah, apparently. I can think like a sociopath, but I can also think about myself as an older person who's scared, or not scared to die, but like looking at their life accomplishments and realizing they haven't made it, or they wanted to do more, or they didn't accomplish that. And I remember in every one of those, I'm like, hey, don't worry, like, not don't worry about it, but I don't know, I'll just say depression ages you. That's the best way I can put it, because like, I've already gone over the death thing. I'm past that. I'm age 200. I'm just ready to go. Not ready, but okay, that sounds like I want to commit suicide. But you know what I mean? Like, it's
the what is it? It's the millennial doomer humor.
Yeah, maybe that is that too.
Yeah.
It probably is the doomer humor. Yeah, you got a point. But it's like, I don't know, and I remember this one guy I just remember so distinctly. It was like, it was in the middle of the night, and it sucks, because like in the moment, it's not funny, it's not happy, it sucks, because they're palliative or whatever, and they'll have a breakdown in the middle of the night, be like, I don't want to die, and they'll just be losing it or something like that, and I remember like, and it sounded so like weird. But the one guy, I remember he saying it, and I'm like, to me, I'm like, you're 98, you have cancer in so many different parts of your body, you're constantly in pain, but you still don't want to die. And like I couldn't understand it. I'm like, why? I'm like, I'd take that as like hey, sweet, you get a nice out. And then you realize that for a lot of them, it's the fact that it's the end. There's no more. You're done. It's everything you've done is on a plate. You can't reorganize it. It's all there.
Yeah, it's like when you get to the bottom of a chip bag. It's like there's no more.
Yeah, but sorry, I realized I tangent all over the fucking place.
Like the fear of death thing, that's just a primal instinctual thing to keep living. That is for fucking thousands and thousands of years. That is like the only thing that is hardwired into your brain is to live and fuck.
Yeah, that's how you're right. Eat, live, fuck. Yeah, that's fair.
So that's like even at 98, even like
You
you probably think like, okay, no, I'm ready to die, but that caveman part of your brain goes, no, you don't want to die.
Sure,
you can't die.
Yeah.
Whereas you have a mental illness, so that caveman's dead.
Yeah. That's actually so accurate. Oh God, you're not kidding. Yeah.
We should instead of Eat, Pray, Love, we should write a book called Eat, Live, Fuck.
Eat, live, fuck. That's the only thing you need. Okay, that is fair. Actually, that's a good point. Or the primal part is going. Yeah, I just remember hearing them talk about it, and I'm like, what's so scary about that? Yeah. I'm like, you're at the end. I'm like, and I remember at the time. This is also. I remember I was I was worse mental wise. I was in a bad place. I remember the one guy, and he had a breakdown. My only thought, and it's morbid as all fuck, but my thought was literally like, why are you upset? It's great. Death is awesome. Like then, and I truly believed it. Like now I know different. Like I'm not scared of it, but I don't want it. I still want to experience things. I still want to go through life. But if like for me, and it's funny too. It's almost it's like a morbid thing. But I think for me, I've thought about a lot of times. A lot of things would be the most value that would come from my life. It would be giving it for someone else. Like if someone else was about to get like shot or murdered, and I would die. I'm like, hey, that's sweet, win-win. I know that sounds so bad. I know that sounds so bad. But I remember that was my final. I'm like, hey, win-win. I'm like, I won't commit suicide, but I'll die, and then you can live, and then everybody wins. Because I didn't commit suicide, and you didn't get murdered.
Dan's the first guy volunteering to be on the bomb squad.
Oh, you have no idea. Or when it came to like, what is it? Like for example, like the Squid Game. Like that's what I was even thinking. Like that Squid Game thing. Everyone's like, I need to get my debt resolved, and I'll just go in there. I'm like, I feel like there'd be a lot of depressed people. Like, hey, fuck, let's go for a round before we go. Like, let's just jump in there and see if we can do some hopscotch before I get shot in the face. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that. It's morbid as fuck. I know it's morbid.
It's morbid, but honestly, it'd be again like doomer humor.
It's funny to me.
It'd be just a bunch of millennials out there who can't get jobs and can't move out of their parents' basements.
Yeah,
it's just like let's have a couple of rounds. See if we
like I either die or I'm rich.
Yep, and then like the betting system would be so fucked because you wouldn't know who to bet on. Because would the betting be who dies the best? Or would the betting be who is not suicidal enough to make it to the end? Because, like, could you imagine the first round? Like, it's like the round where it's like hide and seek, or it's the red light, green light.
Yeah.
Right? And then the person is around for red light, and it's like half the depressed people just go like, like, take me.
It's like all the people that want to win just stop, and like all the depressed people just keep coming at it like a wave.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna reach its kill limit before it. No, but I don't know. I just thought about like when it came to Squid, and I know again it's so fucking morbid, but every event, I just thought, I'm like, man, if you put anyone in here suicidal, you throw the whole game away. Like, the game is askew. Like, even the marble game, I thought about that. How easy would that be to just be like, okay, hey, you win, have my marbles. It's like, wait, what? We didn't even do it. Yeah, you have them. Well, like, guess the number between 1 and 2. 2. That was 1, but here you go. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought of, like, how much in the betting people, like, the elites going, what the fuck? Why did he just go off? Like...
Or can you imagine like the Hunger Games where it's like all of them are all fucking depressed and just want to die?
Yeah, like and I want to ruin people with Squid Game, but the one part of it was the bridge, like the glass bridge, and it's a two-way bridge and it's panels, and they're like, hey, one on each segment, one panel is tempered, one is not. So if you jump on the wrong panel, you fall through. Like I just thought, I'm like, and the whole thing was so like, and they had a mathematician go, he's trying to do the chance, he's like, there's no chance, and he just goes fuck it, and he just like runs down, and I thought, I'm like. out of that would be another one that's really funny with depressed people. Because there'll be one guy be like, I'll take the fucking odds and just run straight. Like, doesn't divert, just go straight down one path. And they just keep going like lemmings. They just keep going to lemmings because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's just standing there. He's like, no, I'm first up, and just full send.
Yeah, and they're all fighting over, I want to be first. Fuck you, I'm going first. Yeah.
There's like a brawl at the start, just who could be first.
Yeah. One guy gets pushed off, he's like, hey, early access. I know that sounds so fucked up.
You're one of those elites just watching like the video feed of the guy running across, and he's just going, Leroy
Jenkins. Oh, that would like, I don't know. I just thought about that. Like, that game is so intense, but it would be made so humorous if you literally threw people in there that were suicidal.
First tempered glass, fucking dabbing on the way down.
Yeah, like the tempered glass and on the way down. Or like, I could even imagine it going like one, or like people. Like, it's almost like, I feel like it, depending on how bad they are, they might even be ecstatic that they're there and be like, hey, like they're dancing across the thing or something. I know it sounds fucking
There's just the one guy's like sweating, like, oh my god, is he thinking? And then there's like everybody else behind her just dancing like, yeet.
We're gonna get it soon. We're gonna get it soon. And then like, I don't know. I just thought that'd be funny as shit.
They're sitting there flossing.
Or one guy's dancing, another guy comes up and like jumps, double score, and he like tackles him over. I don't know. I just thought of like, how much would that game get fucked up if it wasn't people trying to pay off debts and it was just people being like, hey, we're gonna give money to maybe your loved ones or something based on how cool you die or how funny you die or what's the circumstance around your death. So everyone be out there be like, hey, how can I make this like really fucking epic or something? Some guy like
witness me.
Yeah, like one guy strips down naked, goes like runs down the bridge like shitting or something. Like, witness me. I don't know. That'd be funny as hell.
You try and find some rope, rope people's legs together, and then you jump off first and try and take everybody with you.
Yeah, or like tug of war. You'd have tug of war, but you'd have it like half the team would be suicidal, the other half wouldn't. So the one team is just like, let's go the rope and just like trying to run to the center. The other guy's in the back going like, no, stay put. And whoever suicidal people make it first, they lose.
Each team has like the same number of suicidal people.
Yeah.
So like instead of like helping try to pull the other team in, they start pulling your own team.
They literally turn around and start pulling the rope the other way. Yeah. I know the whole time I was watching that game, every event I just said, okay, replace the people with suicidal people. Replace the people with suicidal people. Like, even that one when it came to, the honey one?
Yeah.
Or, like, the one where they're trying to, again, I hope I don't ruin, well, who the fuck what? But you know what I mean? They do the honey one. All I can think is, like, man, that'd be so funny. You just get in there, you see the honey one, you just go, you just take a bite out of it.
You just rope it. You just down it in your mouth.
Yeah. Or you, like, go up to the main guy and just go, like, what are you gonna do?
You ninja dust them.
Hey, you ninja dust them. Or like you crush it up.
Just snorting the fuck.
I don't know, I just thought about like remake the game and remake it that everyone that dies increases the prize pool and they'll be voted on towards the end. Whoever has the best death or the best, like maybe top 10 gets a certain amount, and then like top 5 gets a certain amount, and then the 1 gets a certain amount, and then you just spread it out to their loved ones. Win-win.
Yeah, and then instead of rich people watching and betting on who's
oh, don't make it the loved ones. That's so fucking traumatic. Don't make it them. Be like, come on, Dad. No.
It's like they're watching a snuff film.
Yeah, I'm about to say no. Let the elites bet on it. Let their money come from it, and they could be like, and the best thing is they'll do a social profile, not like just a video. They'll literally know exactly what things have happened in their life, and they'll do an interview. Like a 1 hour interview or whatever, maybe not 1 hour, but like 10-minute interview, and like just to read the level and be like, I don't know, that guy seems really fucking, yeah, he's gonna go first. He's distraught as shit. That guy's committing it first, right? Or like you hear the people like are so they just want to die. You're like, oh, he's not gonna get a good one. I don't want to bet on him.
It does like they're about to start the event and it cuts to like the office interview kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're all the thing. It's like I really don't like Bert.
So I'm only here because my life just sucks.
Yeah.
My life left me a couple of weeks ago. It took the kids. My car's been repossessed. I lost my job and I'm living in a sofa box outside of the Sears.
And everyone's competing for like how bad their lives are. It's like, oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. Let me tell you what. It's like, look, it's like the guy. It's like my wife left me for him, or something like that. I just thought of like it would make, and again, it's doomer humor, but I'm like it would make. If at least for an elite, you can still bet on it. It could be a betting system, and you would just base it on it's like, well, hey, you want to die anyway. Hey, you want to go for a one-hitter quitter? Like, you want to like go out in style? I don't know. That's pretty fucked up, but yeah.
We can do a game show like that, and then we can do like all those like reality love shows or whatever.
Yeah.
Just all ugly people.
Actually, to be fair, that's the one thing I do. Like, what is it? The one British show. It's like the unattractable, or it's like people who are either very physically deformed or have very severe like social disease, like behavioral disease, like Asperger's.
Yeah,
or
the on
autism.
the spectrum.
Yeah, and I remember, and actually, I'll admit it was a very nice show though, because they paired up a lot of people. Like, hey, they've had a lot of trouble in love, so have you. Give it a go. And some of them, and like I'll fully admit, you look at it and you're like, oh, they're both like, yeah, they're both ugly people, but they love each other. And like when they find that with each other, it isn't. I like that shit. I like that shit. That show made me feel good. It's like, yeah, man, nice. They get it too.
I can eventually find it.
I can find it. You know, like the one guy on YouTube, even he has a YouTube. He's like, I know I'm ugly. Like, and he's like talking about how ugly he is and like all that, and he's very open about it. I'm like, fuck me. Like, that's also a level of confidence that is incredibly high. And then but for something like that, to find someone else that thinks that of themselves, and then they're just like, hey, perfect match. That's why I just need to find someone who is as insane or as depressed.
So you need someone who thinks.
So you need one of those sociopaths that you think like.
Yes. Oh man, that could lead into some weird sex stuff too.
What? Don't prisons offer some sort of pen pal relationship? You can try and hit them up that way.
I'm pretty sure. I wonder if it actually let. Yeah, I'm sure there would be. It'd be a pen pal. That'd be dope as shit.
You get married to a incarcerated felon.
Yeah, he treat me well, Tyrone. Because I'm all levels. All levels. And I can say that in today's day and age.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you're transracial.
I'm transracial.
God.
Me and Zoe Deschanel, or not Zoe, that's the actress. The Rachel, whatever one that said she was black.
Oh, the.
Deschanel, what she had curls and stuff, and she
Yeah.
turned out she was incredibly Caucasian.
Yeah, she was white with a tan.
Yeah, white with a tan, and she's like, I am black. Or yeah, Elizabeth Warren saying she's Native American. Hey, technically I can say it though. And if you say anything else that I am not black or I can't identify as black, I get to report you. You guys are canceled. Fucking canceled.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just in reality we're just a bunch of degens and
Yes.
sociopaths, I guess. We're gonna call it there for the podcast. Thanks for joining us. We're back to our weekly schedule, so catch us next time. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Anybody want to be my friend? I'll treat you well. Nothing wrong with me. I know, yeah, maybe it is that I'm fucked up, but I always think about shit.